Op makes a post to gain support after realizing he wasn't as attentive to his girlfriend as the other boyfriend was during a double date. Op slowly tells on himself and information is revealed that he's a creepy super stalker. Posted by u/disastrous_motor_792. I'm a 21M, and I was out with my girlfriend, 21F, at a bar when we ran into her good friend from high school, Katie, fake name, and another guy she knows, John, also a fake name. Both are also 21. Apparently, John and Katie met at my girlfriend's house a few weeks prior when John came to buy something from my girlfriend's dad. My girlfriend was excited to see them both and asked what they were doing there, and they said they were on a date. We all talked for a bit and ended up sitting at a table together. For context, the original seating arrangement had me and John sitting across from each other, closest to the wall. The table was right up against the wall, while the girls sat on the outside. John immediately seemed irritated by this seating arrangement, even though he was sitting next to the girl he was with. Two guys were standing next to us after we sat down. As we started talking, John put his hand on Katie's arm and told her to trade seats with him. Katie looked a little confused but started to get up to move, and I told John to stop being such a prick if he wanted this first date to go well. John then told me to F off and sat down in the seat Katie had moved from. About 2 to 3 minutes later, a fight broke out between the two guys I mentioned earlier, and one of them got punched and fell back directly into John. When everything finally settled, I said, "Wow, that was crazy." John looked at me and asked, "So, am I still a prick?" If you had been paying attention to your surroundings, you would have noticed they were arguing before I made her move seats with me. And you would have known that's why I made her move seats with me. I understand that he thinks he's a hero or something, but he didn't make my girlfriend move. He was only worried about that girl. Now my girlfriend is mad at me because she says I was a jerk to him. So, am I the jerk here? Update 1 week later. I posted my story a week ago, and everybody called me a jerk, but there's new information. 3 days after the problem at the bar, I was on my way to work when my girlfriend asked me to stop by Katie's to pick up something she had borrowed. She said Katie knew I was coming by. When I got to Katie's apartment and went to open the door, it was locked, which had never happened before when my girlfriend and I had gone there. We live in a small town, so it's not unusual to leave your door unlocked, especially during the day. I rang the doorbell, and who answered? John. I asked him what he was doing there, and he gave me this stupid smirk and said, "I've been here for 3 days besides work. What are you doing here?" I told him I needed to talk to Katie. He called for her, and she came out from the bedroom with the item my girlfriend needed. I asked her why the door was locked, and John, who was still standing there for some reason, decided to chime in, because I told her she needed to lock it so people don't just try to walk into her apartment like you just did. Katie has never locked that door, or at least, not when she knows someone is coming over. I told him that what Katie does in her own home isn't his business. If he's that worried, he can leave. He just laughed at me. So once again, he's trying to control Katie, and this time it's in her own house, where he has no say. I asked Katie to step outside with me, and she did. I asked if she felt safe, and she said she felt safer than she's ever been, but she rolled her eyes when she said it. I left and called my girlfriend to tell her about all of this. She got mad at me again and told me to leave John and Katie alone, but I'm really concerned about Katie's safety. My girlfriend hasn't heard from her in a few days now. I've tried texting Katie too, but my messages won't deliver. Relevant comments. Commenter. Dude, why are you obsessed with Katie? Op's response. I'm not obsessed with Katie. Katie can't see how John is, and it's dangerous for her. He's already controlling everything she does, and she immediately let him come to her house and tell her what to do there. Katie is being naive. Commenter 2. What do you think they were doing behind closed doors for 3 days? Playing Connect 4? Op's response. My girlfriend has told me that Katie has never slept with anyone before, and I assume she would know since they've known each other for years. So, no, I don't think Katie slept with him. Second update 20 days later. Some comments told me to reach out to Katie when I knew John wasn't around, which became hard to do because he was there every day. I passed by her house on the way to work, and I can see his car there. Editor's note, I couldn't find a single comment that told him to reach out. But I did manage to stop by 3 times and try to talk to Katie. She kept acting nervous when she opened the door, even more so when I asked her about John. I kept asking if she felt safe, and she kept saying yes really quickly before closing the door immediately. I tried to talk about this with my, now ex-girlfriend, but she got mad and broke up with me. I stopped by Katie's house that same day, and her neighbor said she had moved out. I asked where she went, and the neighbor told me she thinks she's staying with that nice boy who's been staying here. So I guess John managed to convince Katie to cut off all her friends and move in with him. I don't know where John lives, so I have no way of knowing if Katie is safe or not at this point. Their relationship has moved at lightning speed for no reason other than John wanting to have her under his complete control. I'm not sure what to do at this point. I just hope Katie is okay. Relevant comments. Commenter. Are you seriously this clueless? Katie moved in with John to protect herself from you because she knew you'd keep stalking her once you found out where she lives. Since you don't know where John lives, she feels safer there. Katie's dad and your ex aren't sharing any information about Katie's whereabouts because they're probably disgusted by your actions and know you're obsessed with her. You're crossing serious boundaries. Your actions are so disgusting that you drove that girl to leave her own home. Ops response. John is good at making people think he's the white knight. John is good at manipulating people. He is crossing major boundaries. You don't drop a girl off after a date and then stay for over a week. And you don't make her move in with you unless you just want to control her, desire her to sleep with you a few times, and then toss her away. Commenter 2. You spoke to the man like twice, how have you drawn this conclusion? Ops response. Small town. You know people who know things. John has a reputation for being a bit of a player. So if she hasn't seen anything bad about him yet, she will when she gets cheated on or thrown out for the next girl. John's post one day later. Posted by you/John not John 1941. Hello, people of Reddit. John here, even though he screwed up and used my real name in one of his comments before editing it. I got sent a link to the account that has been repeatedly posting about me and my girlfriend, yes, my girlfriend, even though he swears up and down she isn't, this afternoon, and it's taken me a while to decide what I'm going to say. So if he wants to continue taking this to the internet for strangers to decide, then fine, I'll do that at this point. Since everyone is apparently familiar with these fake names due to the million posts he has made, I guess I'll keep using them. First of all, Colton, you don't get a fake name, nobody ever told you that the bar was our first date. You decided that it was because you didn't know better. You posted that 3 weeks ago, and in it, you were correct in saying that I met Katie at Haley's dad's house. You never gave your girlfriend a fake name, so I will, a few weeks before that. That means we met 6 weeks ago. Our first date was the day after I met her. Whether Haley knew this or not, I have no idea. It's not something I ever bothered to ask Katie because it didn't seem important, and still doesn't. Second, I don't know why Haley told you about Katie's previous sex life, or lack thereof, but that was uncalled for and not her private business to share. It also wasn't your business to put on the internet. More than that, I can't even fathom how you managed to steer that question into a conversation with your own girlfriend. I doubt she just offered up the information. Third, you kept commenting very adamantly in your first, and maybe second, I lost track, post that Katie definitely was not sleeping with me. Please allow me to put your misplaced concerns to rest. Since it's already out there and I've talked to Katie about posting this, yes, she is. But the sleep comes after all the sex. Fourth, let's talk about how you showed up to get Haley's sweater. You tried to barge into Katie's apartment. The door was locked, which, by the way, is a safety thing. You do know she could get out of the apartment even though it was locked from the inside, right? I have to make sure because you're not very smart. You threw what can only be described as the temper tantrum of the century. Not only that, but this wasn't the first time you've tried to do so when dropping by to say hi. You then decided to interrogate Katie on her front porch about whether or not she wanted me to leave. Not only that, but, and you conveniently left this part out, you messaged Katie's dad, whom you've never met in your life. Once Katie calmed him down and he understood the situation, he likes me a lot, by the way, we have plans for golf next week, things were fine. Also, you texted and called Katie so many times it was insane. Fifth, when you kept dropping by repeatedly after all this while I was at work, you left out the fact that during the last visit, you went to the apartment manager's office, claimed you were there to check on your friend, and convinced her to give you a key to Katie's apartment. You conveniently leave out the part where Katie got out of the shower and found you standing in her freaking kitchen while she was in a towel. I need you to understand that you scared the life out of her. She called me while crying. I had to leave work, call my brother, rent a U-Haul, and that was the day the three of us packed up all her things and she moved in with me. Sixth, in your comments, you've repeatedly said Katie wouldn't willingly be with me. Buddy, she's not chained in a basement. She has her own car, her own money, and everything. Nobody has taken away any freedom she had before she and I got together. Seventh, you mentioned in some of your comments that I have a reputation for being a player. I'm not even really going to address this other than to say, okay? And? Eighth, you described me as cocky and arrogant, and you know what? I'll give you that. I am, and I know I am. And you must think Katie has bottom-tier intelligence if you think she doesn't know it too. Ninth, Katie quit her job because you know where she works and she doesn't want to go back there. You can say a lot of things about me, and some of them might be true, but I can promise you that I'm not the one Katie is afraid of. You are. And lastly, stay away from my house. Stay away from Katie. Katie might be too nice and gentle to hurt your feelings. But I'm not. Relevant comments. Commenter. What was Colton like the first time he met you at the restaurant, when you switched seats with your girlfriend because of a fight nearby? Was he already excessively creepy and pushy? John's response. Not creepy or pushy, at least not that I saw or heard. But his whole attitude changed as soon as he realized that we weren't there as friends and were on what he apparently thought was a first date. John update 4 days later. Sorry if this is your first time seeing this, but several people have asked for an update on my post, and even more on his. Katie's dad, along with a couple of cops, had a chat with Colton and his dad, a disastrous meeting. Apparently, his dad wasn't surprised but did lay down the hammer afterward. Colton didn't appreciate this. I got some texts tonight, he ever so kindly unblocked my number just to send them, but so far, Katie has been left alone. This is all I have for now, and I'm hoping his obsession is coming to an end now that his dad knows what he's been doing and, from what Katie's dad told me, is looking into solutions. I hope I'm not wrong. Also, another update, Katie got her old job back. Her boss called her, he was very understanding when she told him she was quitting and why, and told her she could work from home since she was his only office employee, and apparently, he doesn't know how to work any of his own systems. Thanks, everyone. Some of the comments on either my post or his gave both me and Katie a laugh in the middle of all this crazy BS. Editor's note, text messages can be found on John's profile, as the transcription contains too much swearing to include without it being risky.